Chapter 501. Young Luo Feng was proposed to for. He hadn't met a woman who could arouse his interest for a long time. And this woman would make extraordinary achievements in the future. Young Luo Feng is very dangerous. If by wooing we can't control her, a honey trap might work on her instead. A subtle gleam flashed through Bai Su's eyes. After all, according to the information I collected about her, the woman is infatuated with Yun Xiao's handsome face and often flirts with him. To that end, I can sacrifice myself to set a honey trap for her. Young master. The beautiful woman pursed her red lips slightly, a puzzled look in her coquettish eyes. I think young master has paid too much attention to young Luo Feng. She is just an ordinary person. An ordinary person? Bai Su coldly glanced at the beautiful woman. When I first saw that woman, she was only a high-level spirit cultivator. Not even an earth-level spirit cultivator. But not long after that, she has become a sky-level spirit cultivator. Even I would be no match for her in talent. And you said she was just an ordinary person? Trembling in shock, the beautiful woman widened her beautiful eyes. In such a short time, she had become a sky-level spirit cultivator. How talented she was. No wonder young master would pay so much attention to her. To make her join the Bai family, he would even sacrifice his marriage. However, thinking of her secret love for him that she had buried deep in her heart, the beautiful woman felt her heart ache so much as if it was being pricked with a needle, and she had a bitter look on her face. At night, the general's estate was peaceful and quiet in the moonlight. Sitting in a pavilion, young Luo Feng gently stroked the head of Milk Tea, a gleam in her narrowed eyes. This time, Xiao Bai didn't come back with her but left with Tianya because Tianya asked her to do him a favor. So her sidekick didn't follow her home. Milk Tea, did you really see the man go to the inn? Milk Tea nodded, squeaking. When young Luo Feng burned the betrothal gifts, she heard a man openly gasp, so she secretly sent Milk Tea to follow the man to find out whom on earth had sent the betrothal gifts to the general estate. Have you found out who the man is? Young Luo Feng said with a slight frown. After young Luo Feng asked the question, all of a sudden, the air around her turned thin, the wind was getting stronger, and the leaves rustled. Since you're here, come out, she said without looking up, as her hand stroking Milk Tea paused. I didn't expect that you were so vigilant. I was right about you. A white-robed man appeared before the girl. He slightly raised the corners of his lips, showing a wicked smile, his smiling eyes gazing at the girl standing in front of him. The betrothal gifts sent to the Yun family were sent by you? Young Luo Feng asked in a cold voice. Don't you think we are quite alike? The smile on Bai Su's face spread, a wicked light glimmering in his eyes. If you agree to marry me, I'll give you the greatest glory. Young Luo Feng raised her head slightly, with a domineering gleam in her dark eyes, and her eyes gradually fell on Bai Su. I will earn the glory I want with my own hands, instead of being given it by anyone. What's more, I don't think you have that ability. So Yun Xiao has this ability. Bai Su pressed on toward young Luo Feng by several steps, a dangerous light in his slightly narrowed eyes. He reached out his hand, grasped her arm and said with a sneer, Young Luo Feng, believe me. Just give me some time, and even Yun Xiao won't be able to beat me. Chapter 502, Bai Su. Get off me. Young Luo Feng's face fell, and she violently shook his arm off. The girl shouted out loud, her eyes shining with a confident and domineering light, and filled with contempt for him. A dark gleam flickered through Bai Su's eyes and the smile on his handsome face gradually disappeared. He stared at young Luo Feng and suddenly burst into a sneer. It's said that the heiress of the general's estate is lewd and often flirts with her guards. I thought I could make you join the Bai family with my alluring good looks. Unfortunately, I was wrong, and you weren't attracted by my handsome appearance. Young Luo Feng raised her eyebrows, and then, in her entire life, she would not flirt with any man except Yun Xiao. The more you refuse me, the more I'm interested in you. Bai Su smiled again, his lips showing a wicked curve. His white robe and dark hair were slowly fluttering in the night breeze, and a few strands of hair brushed his handsome face. His voice was extremely seductive, as if tempting women to throw themselves into his arms. However, in the face of such a handsome man, young Luo Feng remained unmoved. She lazily stood up, casting a wicked glance at Bai Su. Unfortunately, I have no interest in you. No longer looking at the man behind her, she headed for the back courtyard. After a few steps, she paused and said without looking back, "The young master of the Bai family broke into a private house. If the news spread, the Bai family's reputation will be damaged." Bai Su slightly narrowed his eyes, the aura around him turned more dangerous, his robe was fluttering violently, and his handsome face looked grim and sinister in the moonlight. "Young Luo Feng, I will make you my own." With a grim smile hovering on his lips, he said ferociously, his eyes fixed on the girl's receding figure, "If I can't, I will ruin you." He would never let anyone else get something he couldn't get, so he had no choice but to ruin her. "Young master." The beautiful woman suddenly appeared at the man's side. She tightly bit her lips and glanced at the receding figure of young Luo Feng with a complex look. "It seems that this woman won't easily join us. Besides, when you were not in the Bai family some time ago, the Bai family suffered from heavy losses because of this woman. Why you still?" Not answering her words, Bai Su stared at the direction young Luo Feng left, with a reflection in his eyes. "Young master." Overwhelmed by jealousy, the beautiful woman unconsciously clenched her fist. Why did young Luo Feng not accept a man as excellent as the young master? If it were her, she would immediately agree. "Let's go back." Bai Su turned around, his sleeves fluttering in the gentle breeze, and he looked so unfathomable in the deep night. Bang! As young Luo Feng slammed the door and turned around, a white-robed little boy suddenly appeared in front of her, making her freeze in astonishment. The boy was fair-complexioned, his bright eyes shining, his ruddy lips puckered and his voice cute. "Master, it seems that you are unhappy with my appearance." Unhappy? She was terrified. Young Luo Feng finally recovered from the shock and said, "Xiao Mo, can you leave the God Code world now?" Chapter 503. She is my mother. 1. Master. Bang. Xiao Mo opened his arms and rushed toward young Luo Feng. His soft body slammed into the girl's arms and his two short arms tightly held her slender waist. "I am able to appear in your world for a short time since you became a sky-level spirit cultivator." He raised his lovely little face, a bright smile on his ruddy face. "When will you be able to stay for a long time?" asked young Luo Feng, raising her eyebrows. "Well," Xiao Mo put a finger on his lips, a puzzled look in his blinking eyes. "Actually, I don't know much about it, but I will naturally be aware of it when Master breaks through to that realm." Young Luo Feng gently stroked her chin, with a deep reflection in her dark eyes. Just then, with a bang, Qingyan stumbled into the room, her comely little face flushed like a red apple, and she panted, "Miss, something bad happened." "What happened?" Young Luo Feng looked at Qingyan and asked quietly, raising her eyebrows. "Miss, it's Zhang Linger, she." Qingyan wiped the sweat on her brow and said anxiously, "She was captured by the people of the Tian family." Young Luo Feng's face darkened bit by bit. Zhang Linger, as the vice commander of the Raging Flame Corps, had been out on a mission but had been gone for a long time. It turned out that she was captured by the people of the Tian family. To my surprise, after I solved TNK, the Tian family still dares to offend us. A murderous desire flicked across young Luo Feng's slightly narrowed eyes, but I remember Zhang Linger's task had nothing to do with the Tian family. Why did they capture her? Miss, according to the other members of the Raging Flame Corps who fled back here, Zhang Linger was carrying out her mission in a place near the Tian family. Unfortunately, she came across the people of the Tian family. Qingyan took a deep breath and reported the details to young Luo Feng. Among them was Zhang Ling's elder brother. Zhang Ling's elder brother? Young Luo Feng was stunned. Is Zhang Linger a member of the Tian family? No. According to the information I learned, Zhang Linger was from an ordinary family. When did she have a relationship with the Tian family? Miss, that man from the Tian family is Zhang Ling's half-brother. At this point, Qingyan turned angry, tightly clenching her fist. That year, Zhang Linger's father was seriously injured when he was out for cultivation, and a local girl saved him, but this bastard saw that the girl was beautiful and raped her after he recovered. The girl wanted to kill herself, but her childhood sweetheart saved her and married her despite her past. Young Luo Feng gave a sneer. This is exactly the real-life version of the farmer and the snake. The farmer and the snake? Qingyan looked at young Luo Feng with a puzzled look. Miss, what is this story about? The story tells something just like what Zhang Ling's parents experienced. You never know whether the person you save will repay you with kindness or ingratitude. Young Luo Feng raised her eyebrow, so I never save anyone who has nothing to do with me. Qingyan, you must remember that we are not saints. No need to pity others. Otherwise, you'll suffer from the same fate as Zhang Ling's mother. Chapter 504, She is my mother too. Qingyan nodded her head and said solemnly, Miss, I understand. Good, you can prepare for our next move. Young Luo Feng slightly narrowed her eyes and gazed at the little maid standing in front of her. She had only asked the people of the Luo Feng pavilion to check the origins of the members of the two corps, but to respect their privacy, they didn't go deeper. So she didn't know that Zhang Linger was a descendant of the Tian family. Qingyan took a moment to collect her thoughts and continued to say, Miss, that girl became pregnant after she was raped. The persons of powerful families can usually sense the blood connection of their descendants. Therefore, when a person of the Tian family passed there again, he sensed that Zhang Linger was a descendant of his family. So the Tian family took Zhang Linger back home so as not to let any of their descendants live outside. Young Luo Feng raised the corners of her lips, an icy look on his domineering face. After that, did the Tian family drive Zhang Linger out because they found that she didn't have any aptitude? But when they met her again this time, they found that Zhang Linger had broken through to a high-level spirit cultivator, so they forcibly brought her back to the Tian family again. Just like the Xiao family, the Tian family would treat a descendant really well when they found them useful, but if this descendant was proven useless they would immediately be driven out and not even be allowed to inherit their surname. You guessed right, miss, that's the case. Qingyan sighed softly in a worried tone. Qingyan, young Luo Feng gently stroked her chin and said, why didn't TNK and TNU find out about Zhang Linger's identity when they came to the Longyuan kingdom? The corner of Qingyan's mouth slightly twitched. In fact, the reason is simple. Zhang Linger's father is from the collateral bloodline of the Tian family, not the lineal bloodline. Maybe because of this, they didn't recognize Zhang Ling, Or maybe they focused their attention on Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao, so they didn't notice Zhang Linger. So that's how it is, said Yun Luofeng, her smile wicked and dangerous. The dangerous aura around her grew intense and turned the whole room eerie. Qingyan, call Yi Ling, you two go to the Tian family with me. Yes, miss. Qingyan's face turned solemn, a bright light in her black eyes. What about me? Suddenly, a small hand pulled the sleeve of Yun Luofeng, and a boy's pitiful voice was heard. Only now did Qingyan notice the little boy standing next to Yun Luofeng and she asked in surprise, Miss, who is this boy? Xiao Mo's eyes flickered, and he tightly held the hand of Yun Luofeng, I am her son. Son. Qingyan was petrified on the spot, her mouth wide open, and she stared at Yun Luofeng with disbelief. Miss, had a son. But before Qingyan recovered from her shock, she heard the little boy's childish voice again, Mommy, when will my father Yun Xiao come back? Boom. As if being struck by a bolt of lightning, Qingyan was petrified. She felt as though she had been split open and she began to shake. It was shocking. Miss had a baby with Yun Xiao. Did the general know this? Xiao Mo. Young Luofeng frowned, glanced at Xiao Mo with warning eyes and turned her eyes to Qingyan, he was talking nonsense. I only met Yun Xiao less than a year ago. How could we have such a big child? Chapter 505, Cunning Xiao Mo 1. Xiao Mo blinked his eyes and grumbled, Mommy, don't you want me? You and Daddy have known each other for many years, and he joined the Yun family just for you. You can't abandon us. Yun Luofeng's face immediately darkened, and the aura around her turned aggressive. She gloomily glanced at Xiao Mo gloomily. It seems that you don't want to be here. The aggressive aura released by her gave Xiao Mo a scare, but he was determined to risk everything to make Yun Xiao marry Yun Luofeng as soon as possible. Mommy, you abandoned me many years ago, you can't do it to me again. Boo-hoo. Xiao Mo hugged Yun Luofeng's thigh and cried out loud, I've been missing you so much all these years. Yun Luofeng slightly narrowed her eyes, and the dangerous aura around her grew thicker. As if frightened, Xiao Mo shrank his neck and gazed at her pitifully. He was like an abandoned puppy, pitifully wagging its tail at its owner. Finally recovering from her shock, Qingyan hurriedly pulled Xiao Mo behind her when she felt the aura released by Yun Luofeng. Miss, although you are the person I most admire and I'll always obey your command, he is your son. It's not right to abandon him. Young Luo Feng took a deep breath. Qingyan, let's go to the Tian family first and I'll tell you about him when we come back. Creak. Just when young Luo Feng opened the door and was going to walk out, the old man who was eavesdropping outside the door stumbled in and fell on his face. Young Luo Feng's face turned darker. What are you doing here? Well, young Luo rubbed his head and chuckled. I heard a child crying, so I wanted to check what was happening here. Little Fenger, why didn't you tell me you had a son? How could you hide my great-grandson from me? Young Luo Feng was getting a headache and rubbed her temples. I have something urgent now, so I will prove that this boy is not my son with a blood test when I get back. Since I've said he is my great-grandson, he is my great-grandson. Young Luo glared at young Luo Feng but changed to a smiling face when he turned his eyes to Xiao Mo. Good boy, let me hug you. Xiao Mo blinked and answered cutely, Great-grandpa, don't allow that bad guy to marry my mommy. Mommy belongs to my father Yun Xiao. Oh, what a sweetheart. Don't worry, I will not allow those people to have their way. With a big smile, young Luo pulled Xiao Mo into his arms and kissed his ruddy cheek. Fenger, look at this kid. He looks really like you. This feeling can't be wrong, he's your son. Or you can do a blood test now. He looked like her. Young Luo Feng's brows twitched. She carefully looked at Xiao Mo but couldn't find any resemblance to her from his face. This old man madly desired to have a great-grandson. Even if she randomly picked a kid in the street, he would feel that kid looked like her. Grandpa, I really have something urgent, and we can have a blood test when I come back. Young Luo Feng frowned. She was running out of time, but she still had to persuade the old man. Young Luo raised a mysterious smile. I know you have a lot of wicked ideas. Who knows what will happen when you come back? So I already asked servants to prepare 2 basins of clean water before I entered the room. You can do the blood test now. Young Luo Feng felt choked, but she finally chose to accept the old man's cunning proposal. Chapter 506. Cunning Xiao Mo 2. Okay, let them in. As soon as she said this, a small maid carried in a basin of water, put it on the table, and respectfully retreated. Give me the knife, young Luo Feng said, extending her hand to Qingyan. Yes, miss, Qingyan respectfully responded, pulled out the knife on her waist and handed it to young Luo Feng. Young Luo Feng slid the knife across the tip of her finger, and soon a drop of blood fell into the clean water. After that, young Luo Feng handed the knife to Xiao Mo. It's your turn. Good boy. Young Luo took the knife for Xiao Mo and said softly, just gently slide it across the tip of your finger. It won't hurt. Okay, Xiao Mo cutely responded. However, no one noticed that a mischievous smile flickered through his lowered eyes. Still, Xiao Mo pretended to be timid, took the knife tremblingly, closed his eyes and slid it across his finger. Seeing Xiao Mo's pale face, young Luo felt his heart ache. Taking Xiao Mo's hand close to his mouth, he blew on it. Young Luo Feng didn't say anything and fixed her eyes on the water on the table. Then she saw the 2 drops of blood that had been scattered to both sides gradually merge together as if being pushed by a force. Young Luo Feng was dumbfounded. The blood test proved Xiao Mo was her son. How was this possible? How could the blood test have such a result? Ha ha ha. Young Luo laughed out loud, his old face filled with excitement. I really like this kid. Like I said, he is my great-grandson. Fenger, so you and Yun Xiao have already had a child. I was still worried about you a minute ago. Young Luo Feng's face turned dark. Xiao Mo is 5 years old. If he is my son, did I give birth to him at the age of 10? Young Luo pondered for a while and said, this is not impossible. Ordinary people can't give birth to a child at the age of 10, but you are a physician and work miracles. I believe that you could give birth to a child at the age of 10. Young Luo Feng really regretted it. She regretted that she allowed Xiao Mo to leave the God Code world and gave him a chance to make so much trouble for her. Come with me. She pulled Xiao Mo out of young Luo's arms and walked quickly outside the door. After making sure that young Luo and Qingyan didn't come out with them, she threw his body onto the ground. Raising her eyebrows she asked, Xiao Mo, tell me what you did in the blood test. Xiao Mo rubbed his aching butt and curled his lips piteously. Master, I am the guardian of medical God's code. I'm just a soul, so I have no blood. But I have concluded a contract with you. So just now I used 2 drops of your blood, just 2 drops. That is to say, those 2 drops of blood are both mine. Young Luo Feng narrowed her eyes with a dangerous look. Xiao Mo, I didn't expect that you were capable of this. Tell me, how you are going to explain this to me. Looking quite aggrieved, Xiao Mo stood up from the ground and said piteously, I did this to drive away that bastard Bai Su. He is coveting you. I pretended to be your son so that all the people in the world will know that you already have had a child with Yun Xiao. As a result, the asshole Bai Su would not pester his master anymore. Chapter 507. Set out for Tian Family 1. He must guard master for Yun Xiao when he was away, lest someone with vicious intent should take advantage of her. Seeing that young Luo Feng didn't stop him, Xiao Mo began to chatter, Master, Bai Su is really an asshole and he's simply no match for Yun Xiao. He just wants to take advantage of you. If it weren't for him, I would not lie. Really? Young Luo Feng raised the corner of her mouth, and the aura around her body suddenly turned aggressive. Should I thank you for clearing the way for me? Of course. Xiao Mo stood with arms akimbo, a smug look on his face. Master, don't worry, Bai Su won't bother you anymore. If he learns that you already have had a child with Yun Xiao, he will stop pestering you. Young Luo Feng, with an imposing aura, showed him a charming smile. Now that you have solved this trouble for me, I should reward you, and I will reward you by making you stay in the God Code world for a month. Xiao Mo's body trembled, a look of panic flickering through his eyes. Master, no. Remember, young Luo Feng glanced at him gloomily, in the next month, you are not allowed to take one step away from the God Code world. Xiao Mo almost cried out. He had been in the God Code world for so many years, and finally he could leave it for a moment, but now he was going to be imprisoned there for another month by master. It was fine when he couldn't leave the God Code world, but it was a different story to be imprisoned there again now that he was able to leave it. Master, I was wrong, said Xiao Mo, pulling her sleeve and whining, I don't dare to behave like this again. Please forgive me for the last time. You know you were wrong. Young Luo Feng gently lifted Xiao Mo's chin and slightly narrowed her eyes, saying, do you dare to behave like this again? No, Xiao Mo shook his head and hastened to promise. Get up. Young Luo Feng reached out her hand and pulled Xiao Mo up. She gazed into the eyes of the little boy in front of her and said, I know you did this for Yun Xiao and me. You don't want Bai Su to keep pestering me. But you underestimate him. That man has no feelings for me but just wants to take advantage of me, so even if he believed that I really had a son, he will not give up on me. Xiao Mo blinked and said apologetically, Master, did I get you in trouble? Yes, said young Luo Feng, glancing at him. If I'm in other places and facing other people, you can pretend to be my son, but not in the Yun family. They are my family, and I don't want to lie to them. Knowing that he had gone too far this time, Xiao Mo said in a guilty tone, Master, may I tell the truth to your grandfather now? Young Luo Feng shook her head. The old man is too old for this. How could he bear it if you let him fall from heaven to hell? Besides, we have passed the blood test, so even if you explain it to him he won't believe it. Master, I'm sorry. Forget it. Young Luo Feng gazed at Xiao Mo once again. Since he has misunderstood our relationship, just let him. But you are not allowed to behave like this again in the Yun family. She meant that he could behave as he wished in any place but not in the Yun family. This was a pure land she wanted to guard. Xiao Mo's face lit up with a bright smile. Master, I understand. Now it's time for me to go back to the God Code world. See you tomorrow. Chapter 508. Set out for Tian Family 2. After that, Xiao Mo's body gradually turned transparent and faded away with the wind. Miss Qingyan had just arrived only to find that there was only young Luo Feng in the entire courtyard. Xiao Mo, who was dragged away by her, had disappeared. Miss, where is little master? Qingyan blinked in surprise. Don't tell me you killed him to keep his mouth shut. Young Luo Feng grimly glanced at Qingyan. Overwhelmed by horror, Qingyan shuddered and hurriedly explained, Miss, I'm kidding but it is really strange that little master just disappeared. He has something to do. Call Yi Ling, we set out for the Tian family at once. Yes, miss, Qingyan no longer dared to ask and respectfully replied. The top priority was to save Zhang Linger. At this point, in an inn not far away from the Longyuan kingdom, The little old man tasted his tea and had a satisfied smile on his chrysanthemum-like wrinkled face. Since I tasted Miss Yun's spiritual tea, I've become so picky with tea. Except for the spiritual tea, no other tea is to my taste. Lin Ruobai, with her chin in her hand, asked in a bored tone, "Old man, what do you want me to do for you? Just finish it as soon as possible. I want to go back and serve my master." "Don't worry, there is one thing that only you can help me to get," the little old man said leisurely. "After I get the medicine, I will give half of it to your master as your payment." Lin Ruobai curled her red lips. "What about me? Am I just free labor?" The little old man turned his eyes to Lin Ruobai and said seriously, "Xiao Bai, don't worry. I'll give you the most precious thing, which is much more precious than the medicine." Lin Ruobai's eyes lit up. "What's that?" "Well," the little old man gently stroked his beard and laughed, "that is the precious experience. You grew up in the Spirit God Mountains and have very little contact with the outside world, nor any experience. Since I brought you out this time, you can experience adventure, so isn't it the most?" Before he finished, Lin Ruobai had picked up a cup of tea and hurled it at him. Bang! With a muffled thud, a large lump appeared on the little old man's head and the tea water spilled all over him. He shook his head helplessly. "Alas, the young people today are really grumpy. I was just kidding. Why did you take it so seriously?" "Humph." Lin Ruobai snorted and turned her head, refusing to look at him again. "All right, Xiao Bai, I forgive you. And we have guests now." "Guests?" Lin Ruobai was stunned. When she turned around to check, the door was pushed open and a group of blue-robed people entered the room. Among the men, the leading man was a middle-aged man who made an obeisance and said respectfully, "Uncle Tianya, I've finally found you." The little old man faintly smiled. "I last met two people who I didn't know but called me uncle. Now here comes one again. Alas, is it the fashion nowadays?" The middle-aged man smiled in embarrassment. "Uncle Tianya, I'm Tian Zan of the Tian family, and I'm supposed to call you uncle by kinship. I came here to take you home. I'm a loner with no home. Please go back and don't force me to do something bad to you." Chapter 509, Shameless Tian Family 1. Tianya frowned slightly. These people just clung to him like leeches, and he just couldn't get rid of them. "Uncle Tianya, how can you treat me like this? The Tian family is your home, and I was asked to look for you by Elder Kong, but you kept hiding from us all these years. It really took me a long time to find you." Tian Zan smiled softly and moved forward. "No matter what grudge you bear against the Tian family, it's time to forget about it after so many years." "Forget," Tianya sneered, "if I hadn't been schemed against by the people of Tian family, my beloved woman would not have left me. And you tell me I should forget about it? Uncle Tianya, the Tian family did it for your good. You have been gifted since childhood. How could you marry an ordinary woman? The Tian family just found the most suitable woman for you, but we didn't expect that you would be so irrational and refuse us." He meant that it was not the Tian family, but Tianya himself who was to blame. How could Tianya refuse the woman chosen by the Tian family and insist on marrying a bitch? Yes, in the eyes of the Tian family, the woman Tianya loved was just a bitch. She should have chosen an easier path instead of coveting a man she didn't deserve. Ha ha. Tianya raised the corner of his lips and looked at the middle-aged man, a killing intent in his eyes. Why should I listen to the Tian family? What qualified them to order me? Was it because I was born in the Tian family? If it was, then fine, I have disassociated from the Tian family. Why do you keep pestering me after I left the Tian family? His eyes turned sharp, and he was no longer as brazen-faced as he was in front of young Luo Feng. Uncle Tianya, you injured many of our family members in a rage back then. Are you still angry after doing that? It was all because the woman you loved didn't trust you enough that things ended up like this. Tianya slightly narrowed his eyes. So you mean it's all Fusheng's fault? Exactly, it's all her fault. In Tian Zan's opinion, the woman was to blame for tempting Tianya, or else Tianya would not have abandoned the Tian family. Tianya was so angry that he burst into laughter. Will you misunderstand your wife if she is lying naked in bed with another man? If you will, is it because you don't trust your wife enough? Of course, it wouldn't have happened if he hadn't been drugged by the people of Tian family. And from that time, he began to work hard to learn medical skills in case he would be schemed against again. Uncle Tianya, Tianzan's face darkened, a woman is different from a man. If a woman sleeps with another man in bed, she must die whether she is innocent or not. But a man can have many concubines. So that woman left you not because of our family but her own jealousy. How could such a jealous woman fit into our Tian family? How dare you? Bang! Tianya waved his hand and struck the heart of the middle-aged man with a great force. His body flew out of the room and blood oozed from his mouth. Just as he was trying to get up from the ground, the old man who had been sitting in the room suddenly appeared in front of him and lifted him up from the ground. At this moment, the little old man glared at Tianzan with grim eyes, his face ferocious. Who allowed you to speak to me like this? The middle-aged man wiped the blood from his mouth. Uncle Tianya, my father, is your biological brother. Are you going to beat your own nephew? Chapter 510. Shameless Tian Family 2. This was why Tianzan dared to speak like this. In the whole world, his father was the only remaining family of Tianya, so he would not kill him. You're the son of that jerk. The little old man grabbed Tianzan's by the collar. I was wondering why your name sounded so familiar. It turns out you are his son. I had always been good to him since we were children, and he conspired with those people to scheme against me. Bang! Tianya threw Tianzan down to the ground again, his eyes icy. Go back and tell that bastard. After I find Fusheng, I will go back to settle accounts with them. Don't think I will always put up with you. I just don't have the time to settle with you. You are just so stupid to assume that I have forgiven what the Tian family did to me, and how you throw your weight around in my name. Tianzan was stunned, his face anxious. Uncle Tianya, you can't be blinded by lust for that woman. Don't you forget that jealous woman not only left you but also secretly sent assassins to kill you. Hearing this, the little old man glanced at him with a faint smile, as if nothing could escape his eyes. Are you sure that the one who wanted to assassinate me was Fusheng? Tianzan's heart suddenly shivered, and a look of panic flashed through his eyes. Did Uncle Tianya already know that the one who sent assassins to kill him was from the Tian family? No, it was impossible. If he had found out about this, he would have done something to revenge against the Tian family. He must be bluffing. Uncle Tianya, I'm sure it was that woman who wanted to kill you. My father found out about her evil plan. And all we have done is just for your own good. You can get out, said Tianya, growing impatient, or do you want me to throw you out? But I can't control my power well. If I accidentally kill you, your asshole father would probably keep pestering me. Making up his mind, Tianzan gritted his teeth and waved, let's go. Just before he left, Tianzan looked back at the little old man with a grim look in his eyes and then turned away without looking back. Looking at the retreating figures of these people, Lin Ruobai took out a piece of a snack, put it into her mouth and lisped, Old man, why did you let them go? If she was not wrong, there was an intense killing intent in the old man's eyes just now. She didn't understand why he didn't kill them. Haha, the little old man sneered, the people of the Tian family won't live for long. Today I have something else to do, so I temporarily forgave him. When I finish my matters, I will make them pay for what they have done to me. No longer speaking, Lin Ruobai relished the delicious snack on the table. Just as the little old man was about to enter the room, he heard a murmur of discussion downstairs and stopped. Have you heard the news that Luo Feng, the granddaughter of General Yun of the Longyuan Kingdom, issued a challenge to the Tian family, claiming that she would visit the Tian family soon? I've heard about it. It seems that the people of the Tian family took her subordinate away, so in a rage she issued a challenge to the Tian family. By the way, what is the Yun family? Why haven't I heard of it before? Issued a challenge to the Tian family. Enraged again, the little old man rushed into the room, lifted Lin Ruobai in his hand, and rushed out of the inn. Chapter 511. The Purpose of Luo Feng. Where are we going, old man? Pulled along by the little old man's hand, Lin Ruobai could only hear a swooshing sound in her ears from the air rushing past. Her hair was in a mess and brushing her delicate little face. Let's go to the Tian family. The little old man gritted his teeth and uttered these words. Lin Ruobai, who had just been relishing snacks and didn't hear the discussion downstairs, blinked in astonishment after hearing the little old man's words. Didn't you say you had something to do? Why are we going to the Tian family now? The bastards of the Tian family have pissed off our master. I'm going to help Miss Yun. He didn't intend to go to the Tian family so soon, but these people were so bold that they even pissed off Yun Luo Feng. He had to go there now. But, Lin Ruobai reached out her other hand in the direction of the inn and almost cried. My snacks. At least let me take my snacks away, boo-hoo. Tianya, regardless of Lin Ruobai's words, pulled her along and raced forward so wildly she was airborne. Because he was too fast, Lin Ruobai fainted. Tian Mountain was where the Tian family was located. The Tian Mountain was divided into several layers. It was just like a city filled with people, where the common people lived on the lowest level. The higher the layer where one was living, the stronger their power was. The Tian family lived on the peak. Walking on the bottom of the mountain, Qingyan looked at Yun Luofeng with a puzzled look and blinked curiously. Miss, why did we issue a letter of challenge to the Tian family before we went to them and make it known to all? To inform a person of this matter, said Yun Luofeng, and her eyes darkened. Since Tianya left with Xiao Bai, she didn't know where they had gone. If she wanted to inform Tianya, this was the only way. That was why she issued a letter of challenge. Miss, who are you trying to inform? Qingyan grew more curious and stared intently at Yun Luofeng. Facing the curious eyes of the little girl, Yun Luofeng smiled mysteriously. You will find out later. On the peak of the Tian Mountain, a towering building stood. The building was luxurious and magnificent, with the size of a city. It was hard to tell how many disciples were living in it. At this moment, in the study of the building, an old man stopped writing and frowned at the middle-aged man who just came in. How is it going, Xuanhuan? Did that old fool Tianya agree to come back to the Tian family? Father, said the middle-aged man with a bitter smile, he said he was looking for Fusheng, and he didn't want to go back to the Tian family. I think Tianya has no affection for our family. We should just give up on him. No. Pa. The old man exerted a force and broke the writing brush in his hand into two pieces. With a grim look, he said coldly, Tianya belongs to the Tian family. We must bring him back to the Tian family. Father, since Tianya loves that woman so much, we can find someone to disguise as her and seduce him. No, the old man shook his head. Tianya is no longer the man he was a few decades ago. He is a very good doctor and no disguising can escape his eyes. Tianzan quieted down. After quite a while, he said, Father, there are many outstanding young people in our family. We can train them. Why do you insist on taking Tianya back? Old man helplessly sighed. Tianya is not only powerful but also an excellent physician. Even the association of physicians can't exceed him. Such a person must belong to the Tian family, and we can even make him the leader of the Tian family. Unfortunately, he was deeply hurt, so he just ignores us. Chapter 512. Zhonglinger. By the way, something occurred to Tianzan and he asked, I heard that some time ago, Tian Haoqing, a disciple from the lateral line, came back with a girl. She had entered the Tian family a few years ago, but an aptitude test showed that she had no talent and would never become a middle-level spirit cultivator. But in just a few years, the girl has become a high-level spirit cultivator. Oh. The old man raised his eyebrows slightly. Let Tian Haoqing bring that girl here. Tianzan hesitated and said, Yes, father, as if he wanted to say something. Anything else? The old man asked, glancing at him. Father, that girl, Tianzan frowned, is the maid of the heiress of the general's estate in the Longyuan kingdom. After we captured her, the heiress was enraged and issued a challenge to the Tian family. The heiress of the general's estate? What about her aptitude and strength? The old man asked dismissively. Tianzan thought about it and replied, her aptitude is not bad, and she has become an earth-level spirit cultivator at the age of 15. What Yun Luofeng had done in the Ning family was only known to the people of the Ning family, and the Ning family had blocked all the news of this so as not to cause any trouble to her. Therefore, these people didn't know that she had already broken through to a sky-level spirit cultivator. An earth-level spirit cultivator is like an ant to us. No need to fear her. The old man smiled faintly. Find an earth-level spirit cultivator from the collateral line to solve her. No need to bother the disciples from the direct line for such a lowly person. Yes, father. Tianzan made an obeisance and strode outside the door. Not long after, the disciples of the Tian family guarded a girl to enter the room, and the girl was accompanied by a middle-aged man who looked somewhat like her. Master. Not expecting that the noble master would meet him in person one day, the middle-aged man was quite excited. Well, the old man nodded and said indifferently, "Is this your daughter?" "Yes, master." The middle-aged man hurriedly poked the girl beside him and said anxiously, "Linger, kneel down to master." However, the girl next to him didn't move, her bright eyes filled with coldness. "Linger, get down on your knees," the middle-aged man shouted out loud. A mocking smile was hovering on Zhang Ling's lips. "I will not kneel down to earth or heaven but only to my master. Why should I kneel down to you?" The middle-aged man, though he knew Zhang Ling was quite obstinate, didn't expect that she could be so obstinate. He broke into a cold sweat and hurriedly kowtowed to the old man with great force. "Master, this girl just came back to the Tian family. She is still not familiar with our rules. Please don't be angry with me." He didn't care if the bitch was courting death or not, but she couldn't implicate him. If he had known that, he wouldn't have taken her back. The old man snorted, and said without any expression, "You really should teach her some manners. How can she be so rude? Besides, the people of the Tian family are much more honorable than a general's estate's heiress, even though you are from the collateral line. How dare you acknowledge such a lowly person as your master? You are just abasing yourself." Zhang Linger sneered, "My master is much better than you people. She will come to save me, and then she will wipe out the whole Tian family." Ha ha ha. The old man laughed out loud. "Little girl, you really overestimate her. An earth-level spirit cultivator can't threaten the Tian family." Chapter 513, Domineering Yun Luofeng 1. Obviously, in the old man's opinion, Yun Luofeng was just a trivial existence. Zhang Linger snorted and turned her head away, refusing to look at the old man. "Little girl," the old man's eyes darkened and he sneered, "you should feel honored for being allowed to be part of the Tian family. The Tian family is way more powerful than the general's estate. Only by serving the Tian family can you have a promising future." Hearing the old man's words, Zhang Linger finally turned her eyes to him, her lips showing a sarcastic curve. "I don't know how you want me to serve the Tian family." "Ha, the old man rolled his eyes and forced a smile. "Girl, you have no talent. Normally you couldn't even become a middle-level spirit cultivator in your entire life, but now you are a high-level spirit cultivator." Zhang Linger didn't interrupt the old man, but the sneer on her face was spreading. "So," the old man paused and continued, "I guess that you must have some precious treasure that helped you break through so fast. Would you like to show me that treasure?" The old man was literally telling Zhang Linger to give the treasure to the Tian family. "I'm sorry," Zhang Linger raised the corners of her lips, a mocking gleam in her bright eyes, "it's because of my master's training that I could break through to my present level. I don't have any treasure like what you just mentioned." The old man's face immediately turned somber, and he slightly narrowed his eyes. "Do you think I'm an idiot? What does Yun Luofeng have to make a mediocre person like you break through to a high-level spirit cultivator? As a disciple of the Tian family, it is simply unforgivable to keep that treasure to yourself." The Tian family. When the two words jumped into Zhang Linger's ears, a resentful look appeared in her eyes. "My last name is Zhang, not Tian, and I'm not the disciple of the Tian family. How dare you?" Smack. Hearing the rebellious words uttered by Zhang Linger, the middle-aged man standing next to her jumped to slap her. Soon, her delicate little face flushed and a trace of blood oozed from a corner of her mouth. "How dare you talk to master like this? If it wasn't for me, you would not be able to come to this world. Now you even dare to disobey me. Kneel down and apologize to master." Zhang Linger clenched her fist and said with a sneer, "I'd rather I had never been born than have a biological father like you. No, you are not worthy to be my father, you are a beast." "Shut up." The middle-aged man glared at her. "Your mother was just a village woman. It is a blessing for her to have my baby. Otherwise, a person like you would never be able to enter the Tian family in your life. Now get down on your knees." Zhang Linger stubbornly turned her little face away, clenching her fist harder. "You darn girl, if I don't teach you a lesson, you are simply not aware of who you are." Bang. The middle-aged man kicked Zhang Linger hard at the back of her knees, and Zhang Linger's knees couldn't help falling toward the ground. Just when she was going to kneel down, she made her knees stop in the air, only 1 inch off the ground. Her legs were trembling, her little face turned pale, and cold sweat kept running down from her forehead and dripped on the ground before her. The old man glanced at Zhang Linger with surprise. He didn't expect that she could hold her knees under such a fierce attack. Such perseverance was shocking. Unfortunately, the old man didn't know what kind of a devil training the members of the corps had received in the Yun family during the 6 months. After being trained like that, all the people had acquired the power of determined will. Chapter 514, Domineering Yun Luo Feng 2. Little girl, not bad, but I wonder whether you can resist the pressure of my power. The old man faintly smiled and then released all his power. In an instant, the whole room was filled with the pressure of his power. Under the strong pressure and unable to hold on, the middle-aged man and the other disciples of the Tian family all groveled on the ground, but Zhang Linger was still struggling to resist the pressure. Her hands pressed hard against the ground, and she bit her lip tightly. Her mouth was filled with blood, and she swallowed it. The old man's eyes gradually changed, and he shook his head in pity. What a pity, your ability is not bad. If you had returned to the Tian family after you got the treasure, maybe you would have made a great achievement by now. In the old man's opinion, it was all because that Zhang Linger had gained some treasure that she could gain such strength. He didn't know, however, that her achievement was closely related to Yun Luo Feng. He presumably thought that if Zhang Linger had not followed Yun Luo Feng, her achievements would have been greater. Bang! Finally, Zhang Linger couldn't support herself and fell to the ground. From the very beginning to the end, her knees didn't touch the ground, and at the last minute, she chose to fall to the ground with her whole body. Take her away. The old man waved and said without any expression, and we must get the treasure that she has. With it, the Tian family will be able to grow stronger even without Tianya. Tianya, aren't you proud? In that case, I will surpass you. I'll see whether you can still face the Tian family with that haughty attitude. On the rugged mountain road of Tian Mountain, a snow-white robed girl was slowly walking, her feet stepping on the fallen leaves and making a rustling sound. Behind the girl, there were a man and a woman, both of whom were armed with swords and closely followed her. Boom! Suddenly, there was a fierce fighting sound on the road ahead. However, after hearing the sound, the girl remained unmoved, with a lazy smile on her beautiful face. Hearing the sounds ahead, Qingyun looked up at the girl and said, "Master, it seems some people are fighting. It's none of our business. Let's go on." Bang! At that moment, a shadow fell down from the sky and fell in front of Yun Luo Feng. The man in black had a black cloth on his face, and his chest was red with blood. He covered his injured chest with his hands and kept coughing up blood. "Help, me!" The man in black looked at Yun Luo Feng who was beside him, and his hoarse voice intermittently called out. Just at this moment, several men in robes dropped from the void and arrogantly looked at Yun Luo Feng. "Little girl, you'd better mind your own business or else you'll die here." Hearing this person's warning, Yun Luo Feng smiled slightly. "I'm just passing by. You can go on." When the man in black heard the voice of Yun Luo Feng, his eyes were filled with despair, but soon his eyes turned determined as if he had made up his mind to face death unflinchingly. "Bastard!" Laughing grimly, the robed man stepped forward and kicked the man in black. "I didn't expect you were so bold that you even dared to intrude into the Tian family. You should feel lucky that you didn't disturb our master, or else you would be better off dead." The man in black sneered, "As long as I am alive, I must kill you all to avenge my master." Chapter 515, Domineering Yun Luo Feng 3. Ha ha ha, kill us all. As if hearing some funny joke, the robed man laughed out loud with contempt. The men behind him also guffawed, their eyes filled with disdain. After quite a while, the robed man stopped laughing and said grimly, "Just you. I'd like to see how you manage to kill us all." The man in black's voice was cold, and his eyes were burning with intense killing intent. "If you hadn't launched a sneak attack on me, I would have wiped out the Tian family. No matter how you fail, you've failed. Now I'm going to send you to hell, lest you should live in disgrace." Swish. The robed man pulled out his long sword and pointed it at the man in black. Just as he was about to kill the man in black, a hand suddenly came from off to the side and gripped the hilt of the sword. The man in black was stunned and turned his eyes to the gorgeous girl, who was gripping the long sword, a puzzled look in his eyes. Why did the girl suddenly save me since she seemed to have no intention of interfering just now? Not knowing the thoughts of the man in black, young Luo Feng turned her black eyes to the robed man. Are you from the Tian family? Exactly. The robed man frowned and said, since you know I'm from the Tian family, stop meddling in our affairs. I'm sorry. Young Luo Feng slowly raised the corners of her lips and cracked a wicked smile. I'm coming for your Tian family too. Boom. In a flash, young Luo Feng threw out her fist and punched the robed man's body away. With the punch of young Luo Feng, his head hit hard against a rock and he immediately bled like a pig, his blood dyeing the mountain stream red. The others were all dumbfounded. After quite a while, finally recovering, they pointed at young Luo Feng with trembling fingers and said in fright, How dare you attack the disciple of the Tian family? Aren't you afraid of death? I've told you, I'm coming for the Tian family. Young Luo Feng glanced at him. Go back and tell the Tian family that I, young Luo Feng, have come to take my subordinate back. Did they choose to obediently give me Zhonglinger, or watch me wiping out the Tian family? Young Luo Feng. Hearing the name, the disciples of the Tian family were all shocked and hurriedly rushed up to the mountain. No one stayed to collect the robed man's body. Qingyan, Yi Ling, let's go. From the beginning to the end, young Luo Feng didn't look at the man in black. She moved her feet and continued to walk forward. Wait a minute. The man in black got up from the ground and fell on one knee. Miss, please take me as your subordinate and let me help you destroy the Tian family. As long as you agree, I will serve you for the following 3 years. Young Luo Feng paused and said without looking back, you were almost killed by disciples of the Tian family. Why do I need you to serve me? When the man in black heard her words, a look of shame flashed through his face and he coughed dryly, well. I didn't expect that there were so many traps in the Tian family residence, so I fell into one trap and was seriously injured. Otherwise, those people were not my opponents at all. The Tian family is my enemy too, but I agree with the man who just died. A failure is a failure, no matter how you failed. Chapter 516. Domineering young Luo Feng 4. A failure is a failure, no matter how you failed. The man in black felt his heart shiver. He kept replaying this sentence in his mind over and over again, and after quite a while, he suddenly felt enlightened. He looked up and gazed at the girl with her back to him. Thank you, miss. I get what you mean. From now on, I will never fall into the enemy's trap again. A determined look appeared on his face. Please take me as your subordinate. I can give my life for you. Young Luo Feng finally turned around and raised her eyebrows gently. Do you hate the Tian family? Yes. The man in black's eyes suddenly turned icy. I wish I could drink their blood, eat their flesh, and cut them into pieces. Miss, as long as you agree to take me to the Tian family with you, my life will be yours from now on. Young Luo Feng gently stroked her chin. If you want me to take you to the Tian family, give me a good reason. And what has the Tian family done to you to make you so angry? Those bastards bullied my master. The man in black clenched his fists. Unfortunately, my master can't come to this place, so I came here for her. Young Luo Feng silently gazed at the man in black. Master, do you feel it too? Inside her soul, Xiao Mo's voice rang. This man's breath is very faint. But his strength is not bad, and I can feel that he is not carrying a treasure to conceal his breath. In general, if you were following someone who was less powerful than you could successfully conceal your breath. However, if your opponent was a master, no matter how you tried, he would find you anyway. But the man in black was different. He was like a born assassin who could conceal his breath in front of anyone. He could even successfully assassinate those stronger than him. Master, if I'm not wrong, this man's gift is very special. Now it's still day, and if it's night, you might not be able to feel the faintest indication of his breath. Unfortunately, this time, he accidentally fell into a trap of the Tian family and had exposed himself. Otherwise, the masters of the Tian family would probably have been assassinated by him. Your name? Asked young Luo Feng, raising the corners of her lips. Hearing the girl's words, the man was quite happy, and he took off the black veil on his face and revealed a very handsome face. Master, my name is Long Fei. To avenge his master, he could risk everything he had. As long as he could kill the bastards of the Tian family, he was willing to serve the woman for 10 years, let alone just 3 years. Qingyan, bandage his wound, and when he recovers, we'll go on. Yes, miss. In a sumptuous room, the old man was meditating with his eyes closed, and suddenly a flustered voice came in. Master, something bad happened. Tian Yu, a disciple of the third elder's line, was killed by Luo Feng. What? The old man abruptly opened his eyes, and with a thud, he struck his palm against the wall, and the whole wall collapsed. How dare the woman kill a disciple of our family? Does she think we are all weaklings who will be trampled on by her? Let's go, I'm going to kill this woman with my own hands and let her know the consequence of offending the Tian family. Chapter 517, Tian Zan's Idea 1. Towering above the mountains, a majestic mountain gate stood. With its bronze color, it looked really solemn under the sun. Luo Feng stopped, stared at the bronze gate with her dark eyes and ordered coldly, "Get out of my way." Yes. Qingyan and Yi Ling took several steps back and Long Fei, though he had no clue what would happen, also retreated a few steps along with them. After they did so, a long sword suddenly appeared before Luo Feng. The sword was floating in the air and shining with an icy light. Chop! The girl was expressionless yet domineering, her voice overbearing and powerful. Boom! Hardly had her voice finished when the longsword fell from the void and chopped on the bronze door. In a flash, the bronze door cracked, and then the crack spread to the whole gate. Soon the whole door shattered under Long Fei's startled eyes. Who was so bold to destroy the Tian family's gate? A loud shout came from inside the door, and soon a cold-faced middle-aged man, followed by a group of people, came out of the mountain gate, his sharp eyes staring straight at Luo Feng. Where is Zhang Linger? Luo Feng came straight to the point. Tian Zan raised the corners of his lips and sneered, "Zhang Linger is a disciple of the Tian family. She will not come to see a mundane person like you. You are not qualified to meet our Tian family's disciples, even though she is only from the collateral line." In Tian Zan's opinion, Luo Feng was not qualified to make friends with the people of the Tian family, so why should he let Zhang Linger see her? From what Tianya had experienced, Luo Feng was well aware of the Tian family's snobbery. Not affected by Tian Zan's ridicule, Luo Feng continued, "I came here to find Zhang Linger, and if you don't want to hand her over, I can only fight my way in." In a moment, the girl released an intense killing intent. She slightly raised her eyebrow and coldly stared at Tian Zan with her arrogant and unruly eyes. Under the fierce wind, his white robe was fluttering, and she was so domineering and unruly that no one could ignore her. "Ha ha ha," Tian Zan guffawed, "I'd like to see how you fight your way in. Guards, catch these people who trespass on the Tian family." "Yes, young master." Hearing Tian Zan's order, the disciples of the Tian family pulled out their weapons in succession and rushed towards Luo Feng. At this moment, under the fierce wind, the girl raised her eyebrows and looked at them defiantly, her silk-like hair fluttering and her black eyes so calm that one would tremble under these eyes. "Long Fei, solve them as quickly as possible." Her eyes penetrated the people of the Tian family and fell on the middle-aged man standing in front of the bronze door with a murderous gleam in his dark eyes. Hearing Luo Feng's order, Long Fei quickly pulled out his weapon and shuttled among the disciples of the Tian family like a black whirlwind. Wherever the whirlwind passed, a number of disciples fell to the ground and lay in their blood. Some of them didn't even know how they died. "This guy is too fast." Tian Zan slightly narrowed his eyes, and a look of surprise flickered through his eyes. "He is like a born assassin. If he is willing to serve us, the Tian family will become stronger." At the thought of this, Tian Zan didn't pay attention to the dead disciples but came up with an idea. Chapter 518, Tian Zan's Idea 2. When all the disciples of the Tian family fell to the ground, Long Fei wiped the splash of blood on his face, and his grim eyes gradually turned to the only remaining Tian Zan. "Clap, clap, clap." Tian Zan grinned and said, "Good, your strength is not bad. But I wonder why you submit yourself to the orders of Luo Feng. It's really a waste of your power. If you are willing to pay allegiance to the Tian family from now on, I can forgive you even though you've killed so many of our disciples. What do you think of that?" In Tian Zan's opinion, Long Fei should appreciate his offer. If he refused, he must be an ungrateful wretch. However, hearing Tianzon's offer, Long Fei only sneered with disdain. The Tian family? What the hell is that? Why should I pay allegiance to you? I'm here to wipe out the Tian family. And you asked me to pay allegiance to you? Tianzon's heart was filled with anger, and he pointed at Long Fei with trembling fingers. You just managed to kill several of our disciples. Do you think you are invincible? Wipe out the Tian family? In your dreams. We have so many masters, you are simply no match for us. Masters. Long Fei glanced at Tianzon. You mean you? Exactly, the middle-aged man raised his head arrogantly. Having become a low-rank sky-level spirit cultivator a few years ago, I'm one of them. But you are only an advanced rank Earth-level spirit cultivator. How can you be my opponent? He was quite outstanding in the Tian family. Except for his father who had broken through to an intermediate rank sky-level spirit cultivator, the other elders of the Tian family were just low-rank sky-level spirit cultivators. But he was only in his early 40s, much younger than those old guys. When he reached their age he would be more successful than his father. This was the source of his pride. How many people in the world could surpass him in aptitude? Though Long Fei had also become an advanced rank Earth-level spirit cultivator at a young age, many spirit cultivators were stuck in that realm and couldn't break through from an advanced rank Earth-level spirit cultivator to a sky-level one even after 10 years. Therefore, he did not consider the person in front of him worthy of his concern. As for young Luo Feng, at the age of 15, she had become a low-rank Earth-level spirit cultivator, which was really amazing. Unfortunately, she would soon be buried here and no one would remember her achievements anymore. Unfortunately, Tianzon thought that young Luo Feng was still an Earth-level spirit cultivator, and if what had happened in the Ning family was known by him, he would not have been so puffed up with pride. Swish. No longer wasting time speaking, Long Fei moved his body and soon appeared behind Tianzon. He chopped at the back of Tianzon's neck with the machete in his hand, and a killing intent flashed across his eyes. However, as if having eyes in the back of his head, Tianzon suddenly turned around and hit Long Fei on the chest when Long Fei was going to touch the back of his neck. Struck by him, Long Fei retreated a few steps, and the wound on his chest broke open again. Blood was blooming on his chest like a rose and dyed his robe red. Master, shall we help him? Yiling frowned and turned to young Luo Feng. Young Luo Feng shook her head. No, he can handle it. He can handle it. Hearing her words, Yiling was stunned and looked at Long Fei again, his eyes different. Since Master had said so, the killer's strength must be way greater than he expected. He must have some trump card in his hand. Chapter 519, Long Fei's Strength. Boy, you think you are something. Tianzon proudly raised his chin and said grimly, if you really are, defeat me. Long Fei narrowed his eyes, and an icy gleam flashed across his eyes. Without any hesitation, he dashed at Tianzon again. You want to fail again? Tianzon, with a sneer, turned around in an instant and struck at the man with his palm, a murderous desire in his eyes. However, when his palm was going to reach the man's chest, his body suddenly turned to a puff of smoke and disappeared. Ghosting. Tianzon was stunned. Smelling a rat, he tried to turn around and resist the killing air he suddenly felt, but it was obviously too late. Slash. The machete sliced across Tianzon's neck, and blood jetted out and dyed his whole neck red. Boy, it seems that I underestimated you. Tianzon drew back a few steps and touched the back of his neck only to see blood all over his hand, the murderous intent in his eyes growing more intense. You hid from my eyes with ghosting. But there is a striking difference between a sky-level spirit cultivator and an earth-level one. After saying this, Tianzon's body suddenly rose into the air and he stood in the void. At first, thinking it was easy to defeat Long Fei, he didn't fly into the air, but it turned out that the boy was really hard to deal with, so he had to fight with him in the air. Looking down at Long Fei on the ground, Tianzon laughed again. If you are really confident in your strength, fight with me in the air. If General Yun were here, he would have broken out into curses at his shamelessness. As a sky-level spirit cultivator, he was asking an earth-level spirit cultivator to have a duel with him in the air. There were very few people who were as shameless as him on the whole continent. Long Fei silently put his finger into his mouth and whistled, and soon a twittering sound was heard from the void. The crowd looked up only to see a Jufeng bird quickly flying in this direction from the void. As quick as a bolt of lightning, it soon reached the front of Long Fei. Long Fei gently stroked the Jufeng bird's head and said softly, "Pal, sorry, I didn't let you follow me to the Tian family. Now, let's fight together." Hearing the words of the man, the Jufeng bird uttered a joyful sound, and Long Fei jumped up and stood on the back of the bird, rapidly rising into the air. "You asked me to fight with you in the air, and now I'm here. Can we start now?" Long Fei coldly stared at Tianzan. Tianzan's face changed, for he didn't expect that Long Fei had a Jufeng bird. But before he said anything, the Jufeng bird cried out loud and began to attack Tianzan. "Master," Yi Ling was surprised. Why was Long Fei almost killed since he had a flying spiritual animal in his hand? Watching the fight in the void, young Luo Feng said, "The Jufeng bird's strength is not very high. It would not help much even though Long Fei summoned it. Instead of helping Long Fei survive the hunting of the Tian family, it would only be sacrificed in vain." Long Fei was seriously injured and couldn't fight like he was now, so even if he had summoned this Jufeng bird, he would have courted the hunting of sky-level spirit cultivators and got himself killed. Chapter 520, The Jufeng Bird. Usually used as a flying mount, Jufeng bird was not very intelligent and would only take orders from its master instead of taking the initiative to save its master. Yi Ling nodded his head and turned to watch the fight in the air again. In the air, the Jufeng bird rammed into Tianzan with its huge body and issued a deafening twittering sound, which was like a thunderclap rumbling by the ear. This was the ability of Jufeng bird. Though it was not quite powerful, its voice could disturb the opponent's mind and make their ears humming. Swish. At this moment, like a bolt of lightning, Long Fei jumped off the back of the Jufeng bird and appeared behind Tianzan. Tianzan tried to block the Jufeng bird's voice with spiritual energy, but it was too late. Long Fei kicked Tianzan's butt hard and kicked his body out of the sky. Then Long Fei jumped down from the void too, his foot stepping on Tianzan's back. With a loud thud, a big pit appeared on the ground and the two fell into it. The smoke was spreading throughout the mountain gate. Tianzan coughed and slowly climbed out of the pit. Grimly staring at Long Fei's cool face, he snorted, "Since you've made such a big noise, my father and the other elders of the Tian family must have heard it. You guys will be so dead when they come." In fact, Tianzan had already regretted it. He should not have come out by himself. Instead, he should have enticed them into the mountain gate and killed them with traps. Who would expect that young Luo Feng brought such a person with her? He was just fighting to a draw against an earth-level spirit cultivator. If this news was spread, it would be a big disgrace for him. Yes, in Tianzan's mind, he was tied with Long Fei and he would never admit that he had lost. Xuanhuan. Suddenly, an old voice came from ahead. Hearing the voice, Tianzan was quite excited. Looking eagerly at the old man who stepped out of the gate, he shouted with joy, "Father!" Behind the old man there were elders of the Tian family, all of whom glared at Yun Luofeng and her companions. "Miss Yun," the old man nodded to Tianzan and turned his head to Yun Luofeng, saying coldly, "Don't you think you've gone too far? You killed a disciple of the Tian family and tried to break through our mountain gate. Now you have killed so many of our disciples. We've never offended you. Why are you so outrageous? Please give me a reason. I just want to know where Zhang Linger is, but you refuse to tell me, so I can only find out about it in my own way," said Yun Luofeng, who raised the corners of her lips and gave a wicked smile. "Zhang Linger is a disciple of the Tian family. It has nothing to do with you no matter how we deal with her. Just mind your own business," the old man said coldly, frowning. Yun Luofeng raised her eyebrows. "She is my person, so the Tian family can't decide her fate." The old man snorted, "Then show me your strength." Tianzan's eyes shone with excitement as he found that his father had become enraged. His father finally decided to teach these people a lesson. He would love to see how these people died in misery. Especially the woman Yun Luofeng. She wouldn't be able to resist a single blow of his father. No. His father could kill her in a second just with his momentum. Chapter 521, Strength of Yun Luofeng 1. Before the mountain gate, the girl's white robe fluttering in the fierce wind, her lips showing a wicked curve, she looked right into the eyes of the old man. "Okay. She replied to the old man's provocation with only one word. Compared with the old man's aggressiveness, she looked quite graceful. How arrogant she is. Flying into a rage, the elders of the Tian family were all eager to give this arrogant girl a lesson. However, when they just pulled out their weapons, the old man's cold voice rang. Back off, all of you. The old man slightly narrowed his eyes and ordered harshly. Hearing his order, though they didn't want to, they still slowly retreated behind the old man. I'll deal with this little girl by myself. The old man looked at the girl who was releasing a wicked yet lazy aura, his eyes shining with a grim light. He was so confident that he even didn't pull out his weapon before he dashed at young Luo Feng. As a sky-level spirit cultivator, he was really fast. When the crowd realized what had happened, he had already reached the front of young Luo Feng. Carrying a fierce wind, his palm struck at her gorgeous face with a swooshing sound. From the beginning to the end, she looked quite calm. However, when the old man's palm was going to reach her, the girl suddenly raised the corners of her lips. The smile was evil and unruly, like a snake crawling from the depths of the earth, making people shudder. Boom. The old man gathered all his spirit energy and attacked young Luo Feng with all his might. His attack was so fierce that the air around him was suddenly frozen. Ha ha ha, young Luo Feng, this is for your provocation to the Tian family. Tian Zan guffawed. In his view, young Luo Feng was doomed to die under the attack of his father. But soon his smile froze, his eyes wide open with astonishment, and he unbelievingly stared at the place where young Luo Feng was standing. She had suddenly disappeared. Yes. Just as the old man's fierce attack was going to reach young Luo Feng, she suddenly disappeared, and the power of his attack fell on an ancient tree in front of him. In an instant, the tree fell down and the splashed dust almost covered the mountain gate. Where is she? The elders of Tian family were also shocked. They couldn't believe that a living person would suddenly disappear like that. However, when all the people were wondering, suddenly, a weak voice rang from nowhere. Look, the one in the sky. Is it young Luo Feng? Hearing this, all of the people raised their heads and turned their eyes to the blue sky. In the sky, she was standing there, her hands clasped behind back, her white robe gently fluttering. It was the most beautiful scene, making everyone hold their breath. A sky-level spirit cultivator. Oh my god, she's a sky-level spirit cultivator, a 15-year-old sky-level spirit cultivator. It's a shame that this woman doesn't belong to the Tian family. The elders of the Tian family were all stunned. She could fly in the air. What did it mean? It meant that this 15-year-old girl had already become a sky-level spirit cultivator. Was there really someone in the world who could become a sky-level spirit cultivator at the age of 15? Among the crowd, Tian Zan was the most shocked one. His face was stiff, and his body shook violently. He always thought that no one could compare with him because he had become a sky-level spirit cultivator at such a young age. Chapter 522, Strength of Young Luo Feng 2. But he didn't expect that a 15-year-old girl was a sky-level spirit cultivator. Xuanhuan. The old man's face darkened. Didn't you say that young Luo Feng was only an earth-level spirit cultivator? Why is she a sky-level spirit cultivator? Tian Zan answered with a wry smile. Father, she really was a low-rank earth-level spirit cultivator a few months ago, and I don't know how she is a sky-level spirit cultivator now. Smack. The old man slapped Tian Zan and shouted coldly, you don't know. How dare you tell me you don't know? Do you want to tell me that young Luo Feng broke through from an earth-level spirit cultivator to a sky-level spirit cultivator in just a few months? Do you think I'm a fool? Even a reincarnated spirit god would not be able to break through from an earth-level spirit cultivator to a sky-level spirit cultivator in just a few months. Let alone young Luo Feng, who was just an ordinary human. That was why the old man doubted Tian Zan. I will reckon with you when I solve this woman. The old man grimly glanced at Tian Zan, his voice icy. Then he turned to young Luo Feng and said coldly, Miss Yun, your talent is really good. If you hadn't killed so many disciples of the Tian family, perhaps I would invite you to join us. Young Luo Feng raised her eyebrows. Even if I hadn't killed the people of the Tian family, I would not join you. Even if they hadn't captured Zhang Linger, she would not have any good feelings for the Tian family because of Tianya. Although she didn't accept Tianya as her disciple, he was still an old friend of hers, so how would she join the Tian family that had hurt Tianya? Haha, little girl, you are really arrogant. Hearing her words, the old man was so angry that he burst into laughter, but I wonder whether you will still be able to speak like that later on. Young Luo Feng glanced at him with a smile in her eyes and said, I'm in a hurry. To save my time, why don't you all fight with me together? The old man had known that young Luo Feng was quite arrogant, but now he found that he didn't know her well enough. Her arrogance was simply beyond his imagination. She was just a low-rank sky-level spirit cultivator. What made her believe she could deal with so many sky-level spirit cultivators at the same time? What's more, her opponents included him, an intermediate-rank sky-level spirit cultivator. Young Luo Feng, who do you think you are? How dare you despise the Tian family like this? Unable to stand her provocation, the elders of Tian family all flew into a rage, drew out their weapons and glared at the girl standing in midair. Yes, your talent is really great, but it's impossible for you to beat all the masters of the Tian family at the same time. Master, since she had said so, what are we waiting for? She wouldn't know who she is if we don't teach her a lesson. Tian Zan's eyes also darkened. He curled his lips, and with a bloodthirsty light in his eyes said, Father, please allow me to join the battle. He had long wanted to attack young Luo Feng, but was scared away by her strength. To his delight, she proposed to fight with all the masters of the Tian family at the same time. Wasn't it a great opportunity? It's not proper, though burning with raging flames of anger, to maintain the fame of the Tian family, the old man still stopped the crowd. If the news is spread that we bullied a little girl together, it will hurt the fame of the Tian family. Chapter 523. Domineeringly fought against heavy odds 1. Stopped by the old man, no one dared say anything more, and they could only stare at young Luo Feng with angry eyes. Bitch, you're lucky this time. If you are still so arrogant, don't blame us for being rude to you. However, hearing their words, young Luo Feng raised the corners of her lips, her face unruly and domineering. Don't waste my time. You can fight with me together, and I'll solve you in 10 minutes. Though she spoke in a mild tone, her words had irritated everyone of the Tian family. Master, don't speak for this woman again. She is just insane. We really should teach her a lesson. For justice, we suggested a one-on-one combat, but she is just too presumptuous. How dare she say she can solve us in 10 minutes? Young Luo Feng shook her head. No, I'm wrong. It won't take me 10 minutes. 5 minutes would be enough. Boom. This time, even the old man was irritated by young Luo Feng, let alone the others of the Tian family. Good, very good, I've been living for so many years and I've met a lot of geniuses, but none of them was as presumptuous as you. If you really want us to fight with you together, I can meet your demand. Come on, let's kill her right here, right now. Yes, master. Hearing his words, the people of the Tian family all looked at young Luo Feng, and their eyes lit up with a ferocious light. Then they all flew into the air, stood around young Luo Feng and surrounded her in the middle. A murderous aura was spreading throughout the void, and a powerful pressure was diffusing and gradually permeating the whole sky. The pressure was so overwhelming that the people standing on the ground who were not strong enough couldn't help but gasp for breath. Long Fei clenched his fists nervously, and his eyes were full of worry. Will Master be in danger? Even if young Luo Feng was a sky-level spirit cultivator, she was confronting a crowd of sky-level spirit cultivators alone. In particular, one of them was an intermediate-rank sky-level spirit cultivator. How could she cope with so many of them at the same time? Don't worry, Qingyan answered with a smile, just remember that Master will never fight an uncertain war. Now that she has said so, she can definitely do it. Just have some faith in her. Just have some faith in her. As if having a magical power, Qingyan's words calmed Long Fei down. Even he himself didn't know when he started to trust the strong girl like Qingyan and Yiling did. It was as if there was nothing she couldn't achieve. In the air, she was calmly gazing at the crowd of people who had surrounded her, a smile hovering on her lips. Under so many murderous glares, she was as calm as ever, her snow-white robe fluttering in the breeze, and she was as beautiful as a blooming white lotus. I'll not use my hands in the fight. Arrogant and domineering. Not only did she fight against heavy odds, she also claimed that she would solve them in 10 minutes, and now she said she would not use her hands in the fight. How could they stand such a blatant provocation? Hardly had young Luo Feng finished speaking when all the people of the Tian family became furious and rushed at her with rage, their eyes filled with a murderous desire. Young Luo Feng lightly moved her body, dodged the attack of Master Tian who was the fastest, and then rushed to the other elders. Boom! Her soul attack heavily struck a person's mind, and at the moment his mind turned blank, she moved her leg and kicked him down from the void. Chapter 524. Domineeringly fought against heavy odds too. Her kick was so powerful that the guy was seriously injured. Even if he was not disabled, he would lose his combat ability after that. Then, repeating this approach, she dodged the attack of Master Tian and attacked the other elders who were only low-rank sky-level spirit cultivators. After a moment, all the elders were kicked down from the air by her, and only the old man and Tianzan were left in the sky. Who the hell are you? Tianzan's body trembled with fright and he bit his whitened lips, asking, why were the elders unresistingly defeated by you? What the hell did you do to them? Young Luo Feng slightly narrowed her eyes and cracked a wicked smile. What did I do to them? Why not try it yourself? As Tianzan became more and more frightened, a loud bang went off in his head, and before he could react, he got kicked hard on the chest. In an instant, he felt a sharp pain in his organs. Vomiting a mouthful of blood, he couldn't help but fall down to the ground. In fact, young Luo Feng could defeat these people without soul attack, but she didn't want to waste her time, so she decided to solve them as quickly as possible. The old man turned pale, his clenched fists slightly trembling, his eyes firmly fixed on young Luo Feng, and he said in an icy voice, "Little girl, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect that you could injure so many of my men under my attack." The old man was very unhappy. He had launched so many attacks, but none of them had reached young Luo Feng. And under his attacks, she had defeated so many elders of the Tian family. It was like a smack in his face. Thinking of this, the old man felt a sharp pain on his cheek and the corners of his mouth twitched. Now you're the only one left. Young Luo Feng's eyes gradually turned to the old man and she pressed on toward him. To save time, I've solved the other bastards first, and now it's your turn. Not low nor high, her voice came down from the sky. Hearing her words, the elders of Tian family had nothing to say, though they were all enraged, for all of them put together couldn't defeat her. Haha, the old man sneered, I'm still a sky-level spirit cultivator. Though I can't kill you, you can't kill me either. Well, didn't you say you would beat us in 5 minutes? Now, it's almost 5 minutes. If you can't defeat me before the time is up, you lose. The old man paused, and continued, if you lose, you should kneel down, kowtow to me and serve as the Tian family's slave. And serve as our slave for your whole life. His voice was spread throughout the mountain path with the breeze. Hearing his words, Long Fei was startled. The old man was simply too shameless. It would be deemed as Master's failure if Master didn't defeat all of them in just 5 minutes. And then Master would have to serve as the Tian family's slave. How could he have the nerve to say these words since they all put together couldn't defeat Master? Young Luo Feng glanced at the old man, I'll never accept unfair deals. Haha, the old man sarcastically raised the corners of his lips, now you are afraid. Too late, our talk has wasted a lot of time, and if you don't hurry up, the time will be up. Chapter 525, Threat. 1. Young Luo Feng faintly smiled. When I say I never take a loss, I meant that I definitely wouldn't take a one-sided bet. If I can defeat you in the allotted time, what will you offer? Haha, the elderly man guffawed with confidence saturating his features, I will let you punish me however you want. I'm not interested in you. Young Luo Feng lightly stroked her chin. How about this, everyone from the Tian family descends from the peak of the mountain to the base on their knees, and every step that you take, you need to humiliate yourself once. Of course, the harsher the insult, the better. If the insult isn't harsh enough, then you will start over again. You. The elderly man's expression shifted, and he darkly stated, aren't you being too cruel? This is only one part of it. Young Luo Feng wickedly smiled. The second part is that I want Zhang Linger to appear without any harm. For every strand of hair that is missing on her body, I will kill one person. The elderly man's expression became increasingly unsightly, and a malicious glint flashed through his eyes. Young Luo Feng, I only proposed one request, why do you think you can suggest two? This is too unfair. Young Luo Feng blinked. You also know what fair is. If you think it's unfair, then we can change our bet so that it's until one of us is defeated, how about it? Also, the second term that I suggested. It wasn't part of the bet. I was merely informing you. If she wanted to kill someone, Tian family had no way of stopping her. Hence, that sentence was only a notification for Tian family and was not a part of the bet. The elderly man snorted. Young Luo Feng, you got scared as expected, so you want to make me change the method of our bet. Unfortunately, I won't do as you wish, and I agree to your terms. 10 minutes is almost over, let me see how you will defeat me. Even if young Luo Feng defeated all of the elders of Tian family in this short period of time, it did not mean that she could defeat him in the remaining time. As for him, he only needed to dodge her techniques, and it would be enough to drag it out until 10 minutes was over. Also, don't forget that earlier you said you wouldn't use both hands. Added the old man shamelessly. Long Fei was incredibly angered by this old man. No wonder he could do what he did back then. Truly no one could compare to his shameless conduct. However, young Luo Feng, the person involved, merely faintly smiled and uttered, all right. Watching the young lady's confident and brazen features, a feeling of unease suddenly appeared in the old man's heart. However, now that his proposal was accepted, he had to follow through with it and could not take back what he had said. Hence, he only gritted his teeth and said, then we will start now. Wow. After saying this, the old man did not directly exchange blows with her and, instead, chose to turn around and flee. At the same time, young Luo Feng's figure was like a flash of lightning, rapidly chasing the old man. Seeing the girl about to reach him, the old man hurriedly turned around, and the light of a sword abruptly streaked through the air, heading towards the girl. Young Luo Feng's body leaned to one side, dodging the light. Because of her movement, the distance between them was slightly lengthened. Ho-ho, the elderly man glanced at young Luo Feng, who was catching up once more, with a mocking arch on the corner of his lips. Little girl, you're still too green, accepting my bet this easily. I will definitely win this bet. Just as he said that, a white figure suddenly landed in front of him, blocking his path. Is that so?